good vibrations. Don't tell me your name, I just wanna have some fun. Don't tell me your name, I just wanna have some fun.
Where we're at, TNT.
In the land of footy madness where the crowds collide, Taz, Todd and Egi were ready for the ride. Taz rocks the blues with Crips in his heart. Viewers' questions coming now, that's just the start. Goals and speckies in the heat of the game. AFL glory, yeah, it's all the same. TNT Footy, we're living the dream. With Taz, Todd and Egi, we're a winning team.
I like the song.
G'day everyone, welcome to another episode of TNT
Tazzy, you
Footy.
fucked it again, mate.
That was you,
No,
that's
no,
on.
He's just
That was
started
you.
laughing. I got him before the show, and Tazzy's just
No, I-
started with a laugh.
I just said, shh, I'm turning the mics on.
And then you're like,
Okay,
I like the song.
But
Did not
welcome,
hear
Doc, George, Kelzo, and Anthony. How
Welcome,
are we?
everyone. How are we, boys?
Welcome, boys, welcome. Typical stuff up of an intro from
Yeah,
our
we
part,
had-
but you
we
know,
had to
what do you do?
bug
Well,
on.
every time Todd blames you, but I reckon it's him that does it.
Oh, I don't know. I got him before then. He just started laughing. He was
You got
cackling.
in after he said I'm turning the
Cackling
mics
himself.
on.
I'm like, shh, I'm turning the mics on.
Anyway,
beautiful.
anyway.
We've got a hell of a show tonight. Sorry about we're a bit late. We had a few technical difficulties going live, but it wasn't going live at first, but we got there in the end.
Pretty much. But no, you're right, Eggy. We've got a huge show tonight. We've got obviously the typical stuff where we do our round review. We'll talk about the upcoming round, do our tips. But tonight, it's the last Monday of the month, so we've got a special guest in Phatcontrolla. So I'm keen to get him on and pick his brain a bit about footy and see what he does outside of that as well. Plus, we've got a pretty big controversial call from Mr. Todd here tonight.
Mate, we
Yes,
could be
we
done.
do.
We could be done.
So we won't talk too much aside here, but let's get stuck straight into it, boys.
Beautiful, let's do it.
And
Alright.
I'm sorry I missed last week, just for the record.
Yeah, mate, you're in chat more than anyone else. I'll be- jump in.
Yeah, I couldn't talk though. I was freaking knackered.
Oh,
I heard
we
you.
got,
I heard you say, "Oh yeah, you should just come on the show." I couldn't talk. I could type.
just get a mic on. That's it. Melbourne Richmond is actually not a bad game.
Well, yeah, Richmond came back in the end.
Yeah, good signs. If I was a Tiger supporter, I'd be pretty happy with what I've seen so far this year.
Yeah, exactly. Like beating Carlton. Sorry, now I'm going to close the door because the dog's going nuts. Beating Carlton, then last week beating Gold Coast, which was surprising.
And
Yeah. Absolutely.
just a quick one though. What do Melbourne do after Max Gawn?
Cry in a river.
Oh man, he was everywhere. They gave up in the last 10 minutes when he was off the ground, but he was amazing. He's back to his best. Gawn, he was.
Yeah, he
fine.
is. He
But
is
how
fine.
how much more can he do for that club? Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's 37. Is he?
I know.
34?
But he could still go
36?
around again.
He'll go
Hey.
around again.
He could start training George up for father son.
Yeah. You won't be around that long, mate. Can't be far.
No, that's a bit. But Anzac Day, this is becoming to be a blockbuster game now too, because it's getting pretty competitive every year.
Yeah,
I mean, this one wasn't really competitive, but it was a good game at least.
Are you talking about Melbourne, Richmond still?
Melbourne, Richmond, yeah. I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Day.
Anzac Eve. I think it's fantastic what they do. I love Anzac weekend.
the Anzac Appeal weekend. It is good. It is good that it comes it falls on a Friday too. So you got that extra game in there because usually when it falls on a weekday, you only get the one game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, exactly. Then you got to wait for the weekend and
Yeah.
hang around. But
Yeah.
I think Melbourne strongly need to start looking for a ruckman. I mean, they've got Tom Campbell in the reserves, but he's 30 odd.
He's gone
I'm pretty sure.
anyway. Yeah, they
So-
need to back up. They need Gawn to start an apprenticeship. I think I'll throw
But
it
I
in.
don't think it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this, but I don't think it's worth them chasing, like drafting someone young. I think they need a ready-made that can just come in when Gawn retires. Because Gawn will retire in the next 2 years, you'd imagine. They haven't got
but 2
time
years, you've got time to get an apprenticeship going.
No, if you draft
Get
someone
Gawn.
that's 18, they're very rarely ready by 20 to be rucking
Yeah, but
against.
you can get a mature age. You get a 19, 20-year-old, just pick someone else from another team and then get Gawn to just have like a 2-year mini apprenticeship with them.
That's what I'm saying. They should look into that and get someone that's matured.
That's not bad, actually. Anthony's put Jackson back to Melbourne. That's not a bad idea.
Well, that is talk. That there was a rumor of that.
You don't reckon Van Rooyen could step up? I know he hasn't been that
He's
greatest.
not a ruckman.
He's not, but yeah, I saw him in a couple of rucks before. But do you reckon he could put on the shoes or not really?
I
Nah,
don't
not
think so.
rucking.
He's too important for them up forward. He's going to be a good forward. Trust me, he's going to be very good.
Their forward line seems to be firing without those two up there.
Yeah, but Van Rooyen's young. He's still got a lot to learn. He's what, 20, 21 maybe? I don't think he's that old, but Turtle's got g'day Jamal the stats man. Turtle's got here. Melbourne need a full rebuild. Trade Oliver and Track and get some big draft picks before Tassie.
Well, I say that now, but Track, I don't know. Track's staying now. I think he's invested again.
I don't know. We won't know until the end of the year.
No,
just like all the players. But
then we've got the Anzac Day Clash, traditional. Another blockbuster early, and then Collingwood just sort of flexed a bit late.
Number one team in the comp.
But Essendon did show shines on other teams they have a look at how you could beat them. So in the second quarter, they did pack on four or five goals in a hit. So
GWS has already shown you how to beat Collingwood. Just run. Collingwood can't run. If you run, they can't keep up.
Obviously, you can't sustain that because what's happened to them lately?
And I actually, I think Collingwood moves the ball very well on Anzac Day, and they look quick. They look very quick across the ground. I think they're the number one team in the comp right now.
I've got a little Smoky above them.
Yeah, well, I got a big game this weekend, so we'll see what happens then.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later.
How good was Jamie Elliott though?
Oh, mate, 5 goals, sensational.
Turn the clock back.
Yeah, he was up and about for last week's game, but yeah, Crispy's got a big game this week.
No, you went to the game.
I did. I went by myself. Yep, yeah, it was good. Actually, I want to give SEN a plug. They got a on the app now. You can listen to it live. Like you can actually click on the thing and have it live, so you get to listen to it as it's happening on the thing. I was quite surprised how
instead of being delayed.
Yeah, instead of being delayed, so you can listen to it live as it's actually happening. So
it's fantastic.
That's good.
It is fantastic.
SEN do think outside the box, even when they have like big games. I think they had it for Collingwood Carlton last year. They actually had like a Blues.
They still do it. I think they do it every week. I think the Blues one's a main one, and Geelong one's a main one as well. So any one of their games, you can get on there and get a bias call about it.
It's fantastic because then you can actually relate to them. Turtle, you would love it if they did it for Collingwood.
Yeah.
Well, they used to. It's called Eddie Maguire. That's the whole reason he can't commentate anymore. The whole reason he's not allowed to commentate Collingwood games anymore because they just had it.
Jamar's got here, would Brisbane go after Allen from West Coast? I think they will. I think that's already pretty...
I think everyone's going to have a crack.
Pretty well known. Calzo's got don't get me started on Giants. Turtle's got Collingwood of multiple years to put down when needed and defend well. Gears to put down, averaging 56.6 against, one of the lowest ever. Doc, I was at the game, had a bit too much to drink, I'm assuming there. And Anthony, yeah, that's right, just through the app still.
Yeah, so you can click on the app and you click on the game and you can have it on the 0 delay while you're live at the game. You can have it on the 7-second delay for Channel 7, then you can have it on the KO delay for 30 seconds.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Just back on the game. Durham from Essendon.
Yeah.
He single-handedly tried to pull that club into the winning frame. He played sensationally.
He did.
He's been for last year. Last year was his breakout season, and
you're talking very quiet. I can't hear you.
Last year he had a breakout season, and this year he's just gone on with it.
Yeah, I think he's more consistent this year.
Yeah, doing more often.
Yeah, exactly. Merritt again was solid, but I think Dacos gets the 3 votes.
Yes.
I reckon Sidebottom does. I don't know how you go with Josh when Sidebottom had 15 clearances.
Well, Dacos won the medal.
No, he didn't.
No,
Oh, didn't he?
Side bottom
Sidebottom
won
won
the
Oh,
the
side
medal.
bottom won the medal.
He had 15 clearances and 35 touches.
Look, I was
Dacos
sick
didn't
in
touch the
bed.
fucking thing.
All right, they all look like Dacos to me.
He's,
Well, they've all gone up
he's
again. Like,
32, yeah.
yeah,
He's
Josh
32
is-
years old, mate. He's had 15 clearances and 35 touches, and you're giving the medal to Dacos, who didn't touch it all day.
Actually, 34 to be precise, but anyway.
No,
Dacos
side bottom
one
had
goal, too.
35.
Dacos had a few, 31, 1 goal, 2, 7
No,
tackles.
You side bottom had 15 clearances, got the ball. I
Dacos
suppose
had
Dacos
11.
No, 15, mate. 15's more than 11. Side bottom got him going. Dacos had cheap ones late. Not saying he had a bad game. I'm saying side bottom.
Even Elliot
if you
might,
watch
might
that
get a few
game,
votes as well with the 5 goals.
if
Yeah.
you watch that game, side bottom was the one who got him going.
True. Then you got normal people first, and then with Zach Merritt. Dylan Shields been a bit of a letdown. I thought he'd be doing a little bit better than what
Yeah,
he
but they're
is.
putting him off the halfback and he can't kick the football.
He played midfield against Essendon,
Did he?
Collingwood. Yeah, it
But
was
they started him off the halfback, but you can't put someone off the halfback that's not an elite kick. If you want that running halfback, they've got to be elite.
100%
Elite
agree with
ball
you. 100%. All right, let's keep moving on now. So we have Dockers and Adelaide.
Yes. I
Good
didn't see
win for
much.
the Dockers.
It was a good win for them. I didn't see much of this game. Yeah, I was watching the Storm game then. That's why, why didn't I watch this game? Because I was at the Storm game. That's where I was.
Oh, was that? I
Injury,
was at work.
injury news, Riley Silthorpe potentially broken his hand, so he could be out for a couple of weeks.
I thought it was a finger.
Might be a finger. It's all in the same region.
Yeah, but it's not weak. Finger, you just tape
It depends. It depends.
and go.
Back in the day, maybe.
No, there's still tape fingers this time.
They go back on, but they might miss afterwards.
You tape fingers.
Right, Andrew Brayshaw, absolutely fantastic. He's dominating this
He's
year.
a jet.
He
I think
is.
he's leading the Brownlow.
I think he's probably up there now.
He'd
Because
Yeah,
he
he'll be
is
up there,
leading.
but yeah, I wouldn't know if he'd be leading. Not with how many losses they've had, but
Yeah, it's tough, but he's actually been more impactful than Sarong this year. And a lot of people had Sarong in their super coaches over Brayshaw, thinking that he wouldn't score as well. But Brayshaw's just
been
been
the man.
outstanding.
Being the man for Freo.
Absolutely. Look, it was an okay game. I'm a bit disappointed in Adelaide. Again,
They didn't really show up, did they?
not really,
Bit of a-
no.
Freo were there and Adelaide were just there to make the numbers, in my opinion. Just didn't look like Adelaide.
Yeah. No, they didn't have that run and carry, and they didn't have that physicality that they've shown over the first part of the season.
Yeah. And do you think they were missing Fogarty up forward? Because
Absolutely.
he's a bit of an energizer bunny that runs up and links up well with them, and they didn't
Throws
have
his
that,
body
so,
around too.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
bull up
absolutely.
forward.
And Tex Walker was real quiet. Like, he didn't do much. He had 12 touches, kicked 2 goals, but he didn't seem to impact it. I think the goals were pretty late as well, so they had no bearing on the game.
Yeah, just late. But yeah, Freo were just sort of over there though. Freo are a different animal. It's hard to
G'day, Sean.
beat Freo.
welcome, Sean.
Yeah, it's pretty disappointing. But yeah, and one thing I want to say is good to see Oscar McDonald getting a pretty good run with Freo.
Yeah,
He's
yes.
had a horrific injury run his whole career. He started at Melbourne, ended up at Carlton for a bit, did his back, and now he's at Fremantle. He's played 2 games in a row. I genuinely hope he can stay on the park because he's got a lot of
Getting
ability.
a good run. I was thinking I haven't heard of him, but these 2 games, mate. Let's not get in a run. Let's just
Mate,
not
that's
jinx
getting
him
a run
nice
for
and
him.
early, mate.
That's getting a
Just
run
jinx
for
the
him.
poor man now. Yeah, so that game was pretty ordinary. I think after we were all hyped up that Collingwood one, and then a bit of a letdown that one.
It was. The next one was probably just as disappointing from a St Kilda's fan perspective.
Well, as long as not for a Brisbane though, because they had to show this Brisbane.
Yeah.
Been disappointed in the last couple, and they had to show something, and they just dominated.
And they do play well. They've beaten Collingwood a couple of times at Marvel Stadium, so that I've seen lately. Actually, I don't think it was last year; it was the year before. But yeah, I do watch them a few times. They do play Marvel really well.
They travel a lot better than they were a few years ago.
Yeah,
They really do. They've done something, and it's just clicked
There's a
when they
couple of teams
travel.
have done that. Gold Coast have done it too. Just
That is true.
out of nowhere, just started.
That is
travelling
very
good. So
true.
both the Queensland teams, you reckon they got together and did a bit of voodoo or something?
well, I don't know. I don't think Gold Coast played Marvel that well last week, but
No, they
That's
didn't.
true.
But well, they did late. They did late. They just didn't early.
Do you know who's actually surprised me because they've had 2 good games in a row? It's Eric Hipwood.
I told you, Hipwood's all right. He's a good player. He was just always Danaher was the main man there. Now that Hipwood,
And Danaher was selfish as well. We used
Yeah.
to say it all year.
Yep. Very true. Very true indeed. What shocked me though was Lockie Neal popping up and kicking 3 goals.
yeah, Neil. Well, he's always there. He's a goal scoring midfielder.
He's not known for kicking goals.
He's kicked a few goals, the old Lockie.
He's added it to his bow the last sort of couple of years, but I don't know if he's kicked 3 in a game much. G'day,
I don't know.
Brosnahan.
You normally don't kick.
Welcome,
three when you're
Stephen.
That sort of player, but
Yeah, it's good. And it was good to see Bailey bounce back as well after a horrendous game the week before. But in saying that, a lot of Brisbane players played pretty poor the week before because of the pressure that was
that's
brought
it.
to
They
them.
had to. Yeah, they had to show something this week, and they did, which was good.
Absolutely. What about Saints? What's your thoughts on them? Been pretty disappointing the last sort of 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. They were a bit. I don't know. They just looked like they didn't want to be there. Once they started getting beads, the kids started dropping their heads and didn't want to play. And
How good's Wanganeen Miller?
He's a freak.
he's
He
going to be a
is.
freak, and I don't think he's going to be at St Kilda next year.
Did you guys see Ross have a go at, I think it was Darcy Wilson on the bench at all?
No,
No,
I
I
missed it.
haven't,
I didn't
sorry,
really
no.
watch
The
this game.
media have kicked up a storm about it, saying, should coaches be able to talk to their players this way? Because he had a pretty good crack at him. And Ross even said afterwards, he's like, oh, no, it might have been Hugo Garcia. Sorry. Hugo Garcia played nearly a full game and got 4 touches. Like,
Yeah, I do know this.
or maybe it was, or was
No,
this
didn't. No, he got subbed.
No, he got
Hugo
subbed
Garcia.
early. Sorry,
Yeah,
he got subbed real
in the
early
first quarter.
because he was not performing. I thought that was a good move.
Yeah, it's a risky move.
It is, but if you've got someone that's not following team structure, not showing what you want them to show,
But didn't they have an injury during the third quarter too?
I don't
think
think
they
so.
got an injury during the third quarter, and it hurt them.
I don't believe so. I could be wrong with that, but
Or got a nearly injury or something.
yeah, I think they had someone go off and be looked at, but I don't think they got injury. No.
No,
Must-
well, that's that game. I was just sort of lost interest in that game. wasn't
Brisbane
very
just doing what
exciting.
they need to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brisbane
well,
was
they
just-
like
know, it was a bit
the scoring shots. Like it was it the first quarter was 10 scoring shots to 2. Like they're really packing on. Like they're packing on the they weren't packing on the goals early, but they were getting a lot of shots at goal.
Brisbane
And then
had
that's
the
when they really
first
started-
12 shots.
Yeah,
Had the first 12. No, had the first 12 scores. Sorry, not 12 shots. First 12 scores.
Yeah, which is big. All right, we'll keep moving on. Port Adelaide and North Melbourne. This game was a cracking game.
it was. It was.
a terrible game to watch. There was so many errors in this game. It is not funny.
But it was good. I loved watching North actually give pressure for the whole fucking.
No, it was a good crack. It was a good game, but both
Did
teams
they get
were
in
very
front at one
ugly.
stage? Did they get it?
No, I don't think they ever hit the front.
But they got real close. I know that.
Yeah,
only
they got
lost by
within
9
6,
points.
and yeah, they So I've still got to run my K. I haven't done my K this week, but we'll knock that out.
Yeah.
I've been home from
You
work.
do
too
it.
late
You do
every
it
day.
backwards.
Yeah,
Pretty
okay,
much.
we jog that one. We do that in 4 minutes.
Really liked North's defenders. They went young, and they actually
Yeah, and
first
I think,
quarter no.
no, but I think they need to stay there and let the kids play. I don't think they bring Core back. I don't think they bring Logue back. I think they let the kids have a go.
Well, I don't know how they went in the VFL if they played VFL, but they need to really show their worth, and that's maybe been the problem. Maybe they've been pretty lax because they don't feel like they
Don't feel
wouldn't
under
feel like they
pressure.
were gonna get dropped.
But this is the thing I've been saying too. You drop those two, you bring the young kids in, then the young kids build up with that midfield and that forward line. Like you can't have these two retire and then you've got no backup. Just play the kids, let them
Yep.
learn in the heat and let them go.
Yeah, definitely. And there was a bit of fire in the game too. Horn Francis and Simpkin. having a
Yeah,
bit
they were all
together
over each other, those two. Parker actually started that. Parker was loving it.
He loves the physicality though. He
Loves
always
the
has.
physicality.
He was good too.
He was good in his 300. Was his 300? He was good. Yeah, a bit disappointed they lost. Like, they had their chances. They kicked like 8 points in the last quarter or something. Lucky miss.
You're going to get another scalp soon. Absolutely, you have to.
They have to. Like, just it's not good enough just competing anymore. They've got to show a bit of look at Richmond. Like, you've got to show something.
Absolutely. Sherry was back to his brutal best.
Yes, he was.
He
Actually, he was
played-
pretty good last week, actually, as well.
Yeah, he was. He was okay. Not as good as what he has
Has
been.
been, and he
Yeah.
was, yeah, he was. It must be the week for the ruckman where Big Maxi back, big Cherry back, and they both just started
Absolutely.
firing.
And then you've got a potential All-Australian in Curtis doing pretty well at
Yeah,
the
we'll
moment.
talk about that later because I'm about to explode about that. We don't want to talk about that now.
Not yet,
Could
no.
cost me. No.
No.
Horn Francis was actually pretty good.
He was
fired
pretty
up
good.
late, and he had to get the
Oh,
coach had to chase him
yeah.
into the pack because he was a bit fiery. But
Well, I think all his ex teammates were getting into him a bit and saying a bit of stuff, so he got real fired up at some stage.
got fiery.
Absolutely. And he doesn't listen when he's fired up. You could see Butters and everyone grabbing him and trying to pull him back and saying, just calm down, mate. It's all right. Actually, one thing I loved was seeing Rosie off halfback. He is smashing it off that halfback line.
And the
Yeah.
man Sheasel went to halfback after quarter time and absolutely dominated. I think they
He
need to
did.
keep him there as well. Don't worry about Fisher. That
Talking about Port
experiment's
here,
failed.
mate.
No, but we're talking about the halfbacks. The two best players on the ground were the two halfbackers, Rosie
Yeah.
and Sheasel.
Yeah. Rosie he looked clean. And there was a point there where he was running off the halfback from a centre clearance. Ball's come out to him. He's run straight past 2 or 3 North players through the middle and delivered it lace out to Georgiades.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Let's talk about that man. He is dropping some candies, and he should have kicked about 8 on the weekend.
He should
Dropped
have,
some
yeah.
shoulders. He took 10 marks, but he dropped some sodas. He kicked 3 out on the full, same as Larky. Kicked 2 goals,
Oh.
2 and 3 out on the fulls. There was like 4 times he missed the ball completely.
Yeah, him and Larky must have gone out to the same shop beforehand because they were terrible kicking.
Well,
it
Larky
off.
doesn't miss.
No, he's got the highest accuracy in the AFL.
Yeah, it does not
Well, he
miss.
had though.
Yeah.
Probably still does have it.
Oh, well, he's only kicked 1 goal, 2, so it probably helps that he had 3 out in the fulls.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that is
helps
true.
his accuracy.
That is
He's
true.
still-
All right, we'll keep moving through, boys. So next
Keep
game
going
we've
on.
got here the overrated GWS and Western Bulldogs.
Yes,
Now,
indeed.
this is my smoky Bulldogs. I think they were undermanned coming when they come up against Collingwood, and they've ticked along nicely. Now they're getting back to full strength. When Darcy gets back to that side, they're going to be the team to beat, I think.
Yeah, they are. They're looking real good.
They are.
It's even got Adam Trelaw still come back in.
Yep.
He,
they've got
he made All
Treloar,
Australian
they've
last
got,
week. Last year, sorry, last week.
I don't think Waitman's ruled out for the year.
Yeah, old Waitman's not coming back, so they've got Treloar, they've got Darcy to come back. They're going to be scary.
Yeah.
I reckon it's going to be Collingwood Bulldogs now. I reckon I've slept on Collingwood. I think they're going to make it, but Bulldogs will be smoky now.
Hang on, quick, snip that turtle, snip it.
Did that last long?
Dogs are really impressive, and I like the flexibility of Rory Lobb now. He can play forward. I think he's a great defender, but because they haven't got Darcy or Ugelhagen up there, he's been thrown forward. Still kicked a couple of goals. Didn't look as dangerous, but he still competed pretty well in the air.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay. Jesse Hogan probably could have kicked more than 2, but he didn't.
Yeah, but I think he looked a bit
point.
because he was coming back from his finger. He looked a bit underdone. I think I don't want to say underdone because he didn't look underdone, but he didn't perform to his peak.
I know what you mean. The 2 halfbackers from GWS, Lockie Ash and Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield, the 2 Lockies, they have had an outstanding year so far.
Yeah, that's their football they play, isn't it? Just the run off the halfback. Can't win a clearance, but if you turn it over and they're a halfback, look out, it's coming back twice as far.
And that's the thing. I don't think GWS's midfield is one of the top midfields in the league anymore.
No, I don't think it ever has been, has it?
You got Tom Green. Well, it used to be when you had Green, Cornelio, Kelly. Who else did they used to have run through there? And it was elite. It was the best midfield in the league at one point, but they're all aging now too.
But Bulldogs midfield's probably still the best midfield in the league.
It's definitely up there. Yeah, especially now with Sand.
Bontempelli, you've got Kennedy going through there now. Don't know how Carlton gave him away.
Mate, it's been a win-win. Kennedy and Hewitt have both won from that trade, but we'll talk on that later.
Liberatore, you've even got Ed Richards that runs through there now. There's just Riley Sanders. He's going from good to better.
Yeah, looking good for Tassie.
Sean. Yes, he is. McCurdy's not looking so good for Tassie though. We might hold on to him.
You never know, but that was good. And I just want to ask, what has happened to English? He was at one point one of the best ruckman in the league. He had a good game on the weekend.
I was about to say he played pretty well on the weekend. What are you
No, he
talking
did,
about?
but that's the standard that he was playing for a number of years, and now he's just dropped right off. He can't be doing these games once every now and then because he's got the ability to do it.
To do it every time. Well, it must be. We'll just see the rucks next week because Gorn, Cherry, and English all stood up. Even Rowan Marshall, I think he had a cracker as well. So
He did. He did.
ruckman week.
Grundy didn't. Fucker. All right, next game. Suns and Sydney.
Oh, it's a great game. I thought Sydney had it. The game was over at quarter time. I thought Sydney was just going to run away with it, and then did Gold Coast prove me wrong.
They did. Well, Rioli didn't touch the ball up until quarter time.
Yep.
And then came out for the next 3 quarters and just absolutely tore them apart. He finished on 21 disposals in 3 quarters. That's pretty good.
Just to rub this into Colin, how good is Johnny Noble going at
Oh, mate.
I know. I said that earlier on in the year. I was like, I don't know why they got rid of Dan Houston when they already had a Dan Houston in the team.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know why they got Dan Houston in when they already had a Dan Houston in the team.
Yeah, they already had him voting. And I'd arguably say he's been better at Gold Coast than Houston's been at Collingwood. He is
I agree with that.
Absolutely flying.
It's like the pressure's off him.
Is it Houston's already missed three or four games due to suspension? Like one was from last year, and then he got a new one.
Yeah, he got another one this year.
Yeah, correct. Johnny, he looks like he's playing with nothing on his shoulders. Like
just
he's got
freedom.
He's got
he's
the license to run.
That's it. They've just said here. Whereas at Collingwood, he was struggling to get in the side. They wouldn't pick him. Kept dropping him, and now he's just looking like a jet of that half.
And they were dropping him when he wasn't playing bad. Like that was the biggest question. So I'll just catch up on chat here. Kelso's got GWS mids couldn't win the ball to get it forward to Hogan. He's also got here GWS need to get the ball to Darcy Jones more to really fire. Yeah, he's a jet. They look great. They looked great all year when they play through him. And Doc's got Noble wanted to leave. We didn't get rid of him. Yeah, but he wanted to leave because he wasn't getting the opportunity the year before.
He wanted to leave because you gave him done him dirty. And I would have been out of that team as well.
Yeah. It was just a carryover.
We're saying that when it happened back in 2023.
Yeah.
And it's like dirty. Same with Taylor Adams. It's a reason why he left as well, because he didn't get picked for the grand final. So players leave because they can't get past that, unfortunately. Yeah. So it's been a great pickup for Gold Coast, though.
But yeah, and Gold Coast, I think they near the end of the second quarter, they from there to the fourth quarter, they kicked 12 goals to Sydney's 1 point.
Yeah,
it was something crazy. They didn't score a goal from half time, I think, Sydney, until late in the last.
Yep.
They look good, Gold Coast. They look very, very good. And it's good to see because they haven't shown this for consistently for so long. Let me have a look here. So Sydney kicked 1 point between the second quarter and the third quarter. That's it.
Yeah, I know they've done absolutely nothing. I was out on the fishing boat because my brother didn't want to watch the game, so we went out and we were listening to it, but it got turned off pretty quick at about 3/4 time.
Can't really blame him. We'll keep moving through. So Ben King 5 goals. Bailey Humphrey stood up 4 goals. Nick Blakey ended up popping up for 3. I don't know if he moved forward or not. I don't recall seeing.
I don't think he got 4, but I think one of them he got 50 meters. I think it was that game, or it was one other one. Yeah, could have been another game. I can't think of who it was now. But yeah, fair.
Hang on, what do we got here? I think we fired up the Collingwood supporters.
I was ignoring them because I don't think they got the right statistics showing.
Incorrect, moved because his family moved. Adams was injured. He would have played the grand final.
Yeah, I remember that. He was injured.
Last year he played for Pies. He played every game.
Yeah, but you'd already done him dirty the year before.
But
he'd already been done.
Like you watched him through the 2023 final series when he was coming onto the field after the game. He didn't look happy.
You can't. Like, he done nothing wrong to get dropped either. That was the thing, and he got dropped for an arguably worse player.
Well, he's not in the team now.
Yeah,
was it Oleg?
Yeah,
it was Markov. Yeah, it was 110% drop for Markov, and you could tell he was happy playing there, and he probably would have signed a long-term deal with.
Yeah.
It was the one decision that cost Collingwood him, I think.
Keep moving through.
Oh, move on. We'll go to
your game of the round.
Tassie was very happy about this one.
Yes, this was great. It was a 4-quarter performance. Every
Yeah.
time Geelong looked like they were going to come back, like they kicked 2 goals at the start of the second quarter, and I messaged Still actually, and I was like, "Oh yeah, here we go. It's going to happen again." Carlton put the foot took that momentum away from them, kicked a couple of goals themselves.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter, the same thing happened. Geelong actually kicked 3 goals.
Harry McKay. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's crucial. All right, so something that shits me to tears is when people say that Harry and Charlie cannot play in the same team in the same forward line, and we should have traded him. I call bullshit every single time.
Should have tried
Yeah.
him.
No,
Should have tried him.
mate. They are.
No, I've said they work well together.
They do.
Because there's
They're
one up
fairly
high.
One of them is going to draw the best defender from the opposition team, and then the other one's going to have a day out, and then when they switch, the switches to who you go to. So then Charlie starts kicking goals. So
the other thing is they actually haven't played a lot of games together because one's been injured or the other.
yeah,
So I think they've played. I think there was a stat that they've only played like 50 or 60 games together. That's not a lot
of games. That's more than North Melbourne team, mate.
But when
Very
you're trying to
experienced.
gel and learn how each other play, so I think we're going to start seeing the fruits of that come through, and it's just good to see the team playing.
It's
with
good to see Walsh back to
confidence.
his arguably best.
Walsh was fantastic.
Walsh
He's
was
got his
really
running
good.
power back.
Yeah.
Passing, moving.
They're attacking now, but I ask you a question: where's this been? How can you just flip the switch like that in 3 weeks?
I think a lot of it's been mindset, and it's not like they haven't been playing bad. Our biggest loss was 20 points, right?
Does that make you nervous for finals time if it's that easy to switch off?
No, I don't think so, because it's missing targets here and there. The pressure was on late in the game yesterday, and we still managed to hit targets, and that was when Geelong were coming. So,
but if you're saying the first 3 games mindset,
probably more confidence than mindset.
So
they weren't confident that they were able to play the way that they did play. Yeah, I don't know.
Now
why.
you reckon they're up and about and they're not stopping.
I think
it was a good win. It was a good win. It's a win they had to prove because West Coast, North Melbourne weren't wins that were letting us think they were involved.
When you look at the margin, it should have shown what yesterday was going to end up like. But yeah, it was a good win. It was needed, and hopefully this gets the season up and running. This is when the season starts because we're now 3 and 4.
Free kick Carlton, Doc. Yes, I agree. It's always free kick Carlton.
Actually, we did get the rub of the green yesterday. I'm not going to lie with that.
You get the rub of the green every week, mate.
Gold Coast, dude.
I don't think it's 20-11 the free kick, Stazzy. That's normal for the season average for Carlton this year is 23 free kicks. North Melbourne hasn't seen 23 free kicks in 10 years.
I'm just going to say I heard Scott a little bit on his press conference, and he didn't have a lot of nice things to say about Carlton. It was more Geelong's kicking was really poor and everything. However, that's got to come off the back of the pressure.
Yeah.
But
Geelong's kicking was really poor, but they only kicked 4 behinds.
Yeah, field kicking more than anything. Field kicking. So,
all right. Bailey, we can talk all night, but what'd you say? Sorry, Tess?
I was just going to say, I want to shout out to Bailey Smith. Played a cracking game, but his disposal efficiency was actually down. And I really like the look of Sean Manor and Humphreys down back for Geelong as well.
Yeah. All right, we got one more to get through. We're running a bit late because we've had a few rants on a few games. So, fourth on West Coast. I didn't watch this one. I was out fishing, boys.
I was watching bits and pieces of it, yeah. It was all right. Like, you expected Hawthorn to run away with it, but, yeah, they still sort of kept him within touch, West Coast. But
Oscar Allen's not doing himself any favours, though.
I think he's checked out.
Has to have.
Well, Harley stood up and kicked a few goals in that. I know he kicked 2, at least 2.
Yeah, he did, 2 goals, 19 disposals. That's his best game this year. 7 tackles.
Yeah, 110% his best game this year. Jake the Snake with 2 and Gunston. How good is Gunston going?
Mate, he's been sensational the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, and he missed a few too. I think he got a couple out on the falls, and then I think he kicked one behind or 2 behinds either side, then got one through the middle. I thought it was quite funny.
And then you've got Guinea as well. He came back and actually stood up.
Yeah.
After being dropped, so he had a good return, 17 touches and 2 goals. So it's good. And my boy Matty Owies kicked a goal from 10 touches.
Matty Owies.
He's having a shit year.
Line along.
I was hoping our biggest Hawthorn supporter would be here tonight, Artie, because I'd love to hear his thoughts about Liverpool winning the Premier League this morning. So
I've got messages. Don't you worry about that.
So maybe he's having an early night because he was up early watching that.
It wouldn't surprise me. I woke up for work this morning to a message from him already, a photo of Liverpool. I was like, All right. That's the round review. Sorry, we dragged on a bit.
Round review,
a couple of
dragged
those
on. We had a
games.
few big games in there. Yep.
But we have our guest ready to come in. So I will admit him, and the screen's going to change. So just remember that.
Beautiful.
Like it normally does.
Oh, it hasn't changed. What's going on?
No, you gotta stop.
No, you haven't put him in there yet.
Again.
There we go.
Beautiful.
What's going on,
How are
Babs?
we?
How you doing,
good,
mate?
mate? Yourself?
Mate, going well. Going well. Thank you. How are you?
On?
Yeah, not
No,
too
pleasure.
bad. Not too bad
Pleasure.
at all.
So we try and get a guest on the last Monday and the first Monday of each month. And I mean, I've known you for years now, myself personally, and
Absolutely.
wanted to get you on to have a bit of a chat about your DJing and obviously footy as well.
Yep, for
so
sure.
Do you want to sort of tell us a little bit about what you do when it comes to the DJing side?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start from the start, and sort of taking us back to COVID and when we were in lockdown, and trying to find something outside of work that you had gave me a bit of a release away from work, because as you know, Taz, obviously we work in a very similar industry, and hence why we've known each other for a long time. It was a pretty taxing time, so it was pretty tough work.
Yep.
And it was nice to try and pick up or I've always been interested in music, but the release inside like that sort of lockdown space was, what the DJing sort of fell into that sort of territory. So it gave me a little bit of a, outside of work interest and a bit of something I could do that wasn't kids, wasn't, footy, obviously. There was no footy or anything like that through that period. So,
Yep.
And then from there, it's sort of just gone and strengths. And as I guess my skills have improved and, I've started to look at some other stuff like, music production and those kind of things. So sort of just gone step up until this time. So, sort of 5 years down the track and starting to really get some traction and hit the ground running. So you never know what the future's going to hold. But
It's
I guess
fantastic.
yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, listen, I think it's good that, as you guys do, something that you love turns into something that you can do. So it's not, it's not just about sort of, trying to find a passion. Like, the passion was already there. So being able to sort of transform it into something else that's not only really enjoyable but serves a purpose is always a really good outcome. So, I'm pretty happy with the way that it's gone and things are going too. Like, starting to get a little bit more stressful now that things are getting bigger and bigger, but it is what it is. So
That's good, mate. And to see your growth in, over the last 5 years has been outstanding. You put a lot of time into it and you put a lot of dedication, but your music, even from the first sort of track that you sent through to what you're playing now, there's similarities, but it's also very different at the same time because you've just improved so much.
Yeah. And like, I think I'm not sure if Egi and Toddy, you were part of this early days, but when I jumped on board with Decked and
Yes.
were able to do your, it was one of the first tracks I ever did, was your leading track there. So, thank you guys for jumping on early doors and giving me the support, because I think that, like Taylor said, it's there's always been sort of like a nucleus. It's sort of always been relatively similar, but as I sort of have grown and started to learn new techniques and I think music has changed a lot over that. Well, particularly electronic music's changed quite a lot over that time. So, it's now I sort of still try to keep to like that electro house sort of roots that I really enjoy listening to, and just try to put my own spin on it. And I guess it's just born from the hours and hours that I listen to music. The more you listen to, the more you get influenced, and hopefully, as particularly the new stuff that I've been making this year, I think that's starting to really sort of form like what my sound's going to be like. I think it's really important that you've got your own identity, and I think at the moment I'm starting to put some stuff together that's sort of really starting to, like if you listen to it without knowing it was me, you would know it was me. So
Yep.
I think that's important, and it's a pretty big step in the journey. Like when you sort of start out, you try and emulate someone, and you try and emulate a sound. So, for example, like I'm a huge Chris Lake fan. I've always tried to emulate his sound because super groovy. Now trying to keep that as the body, but then trying to emulate, or trying to bring in some of those other influences, particularly from some of that old school sort of early 2000s electro that I really enjoyed listening to.
Yep.
And just trying to, again, it's just trying to forge my own sort of pathway and forge my own identity in what is a pretty challenging market. So
Yeah,
it's,
So where can the guys follow you if
Yeah, mate, social is probably the best. That's probably where I'm most active via Instagram. The Facebook page is always pretty good as well. But ultimately, the majority of my music sort of, promo and stuff goes through Instagram. But all of my records, so some of my early ones that were all
SoundCloud, that, isn't it?
Yeah, so on SoundCloud or Spotify. You can find me on Spotify as well. So I've got a bunch of records now on Spotify that I think now I'm looking at. I think I'll release probably 5 tracks this year. Got one coming out next week. And then I'll probably have another, like I've got signed, I think, another 4, but only one has a date so far. So it's a bit later in the year, but
that's good that you're filtering through them, though.
No,
yeah, I'm getting, like, I think the thing is, as I've sort of started to get better and better, like the records are going out in much better quality. So the labels that I'm like, they're sort of now asking for records rather than like me having to send out 500 demo emails just for someone to try and buy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Labels now are coming back and oh well, you did this and it was really good. Can you do us another one? So,
Cool.
yeah, so it's really good. Like, and starting to get some other spread. Like I've got some records going out in China and Japan, some in the US. Got a label that we jump on the from Spain. So trying to get a bit of reach outside Australia as well, which is particularly the US market's really pivotal. So if you can get into the US market, realistically, you're accessing 100 times the people that you are in Australia. So
yeah, that's it.
And
a lot bigger over there.
Yeah, and the industry is massive over there, just with the amount of festivals they run. And the beauty with America is it's always summer there somewhere, so there's always something going on. So not that I'm looking at trying to obviously get over there, but just trying to get people to play my music. Everyone's having a party or something like that. So
never say never, though, mate. You might end up.
That's it, mate. That's it. Yeah, well, you never know. You never know.
Just takes one song like Cyril Riley.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think that a perfect example that I sort of look at is Odd Mob. I'm not sure if anyone knows him, but he's from Melbourne. And basically you had, he's only, I think he's 25 or something like that, maybe 30. But, just sort of grafted along, and then all of a sudden he had this massive record, and now he's touring the world. So, I guess it's happened with everyone. Everyone gets that one chance, and, hopefully one day I'll get that chance, but you never know. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, we'll get back on footy topic now. Who do you follow? I mean, I know.
Yeah, I'm a mad Hawks man. So it's been when I say it's been a pretty good weekend in my house, actually, to be honest, it has been a good weekend in my house, but not because of the Hawks. The rest of my family are all mad Collingwood, so
everyone's up and about.
They don't let me celebrate too much about the Hawks, particularly at the moment. But so the Pies are obviously flying as well, which is good.
Makes your household better.
Well, that's right. Keeps my missus pretty happy, which is always good. You've got to try and make sure that happens.
Absolutely.
And Premiership and Grand Finalists. Who you got for them? We're going to have Collingwood Hawks, are we?
Oh, wouldn't that be a disaster in my place? Actually, to be honest, when the Hawks were going pretty well, Collingwood was starting to come through as well. And I think the 2005 or 2006 flag, Collingwood made the prelim. And so we were trying to, there was a lot of influencing in the background of who I was going to barrack for if Collingwood had made the grand final. Obviously, the answer's quite clear, but you've always got the little whispers from my son Harry, who's 10. He wants me to barrack for Collingwood. My son Darcy now, who's only 4, so he's actually more vocal. So he's really in my ear trying to get me to barrack for Collingwood. So I've said to Harry, the only chance I'll ever swap barracking for Hawthorn will be if Harry plays for Collingwood. So he's got to do that. If he can get there and he can play for Collingwood, then I'll jump on board. But other than that, I'm brown and gold all the way.
Love it, mate. So
I think we're a chance. Premierships. Listen, I'd love to say Hawthorn, but I'd still not 100% behind them in terms of this year. I think they've certainly got a pretty good, probably decade ahead of them. But listen, I think we're still going to probably struggle. Collingwood are really good when they fire. But also, sides like Brisbane, Brisbane have just got this immense capability of making grand finals and winning them. So, as much as I don't want to tip Brisbane, I'm probably going to jump behind Brisbane, I reckon.
Brisbane. All right. What about your spoon?
Oh, that's all right. She's all over, isn't it?
West Coast.
I think West Coast have got that already.
Yep.
But
and then,
that being said, I'm sorry, Toddy, but I'm still not all
No,
that
I'm not
keen
sold
on
on
the Kangas, mate. Yeah.
No.
Well,
It'll be the battle of the spoon over there, I think.
Yeah. Listen, they've had some good signs, but
no, I'm not sold either. I'm the most anti-North person there is at the moment.
I thought you were anti-Pies, but
definitely is anti-Pies.
Yeah, it's a shame that Clark hasn't got him firing because I think he will. I think they'll be fine, but
they got to show something soon, though. They can't just keep giving excuses, I don't think.
Yeah. Listen, I hope they stick by him because 2003 or whatever it was before when Clarko first took over the Hawks, they were putrid. They were absolutely horrible. And, 10 years later, they'd won 4 flags. So, I think he has the knowledge, he has the ability. It's just about their list isn't excellent either. They've still got a bit of work to do there, but they'll be right, mate.
No, that's it. They'll get in. And just before we let you go, Coleman and Brownlow.
Brownlow. Oh, shit. Yeah, you know what? I'd love to see the Bont, mate. I'd love to see the Bont get over the line. And I think that, his return on the weekend was impressive. So I think if he can stay on the park for the rest of the year and poll, he always polls reasonably evenly. He's a pretty good poller, and they're not great either, the Bulldogs. So if he can go well, he'll probably poll in every game.
Yeah, he's given them a 6-week head start, though. So.
Yeah, but I've seen funny things happen. I've seen people have won Brownlows in 12 games. So
that's it.
I think he's a good poll getter. He gets votes, so I think he'll be a real chance. So I'm going to jump behind him because it's a great story as well.
Yeah, I want to see the Bont win one. He should have won 3 already.
And then the second question was the Coleman.
Coleman, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really hard one. It's so even. And
it's real close at the moment.
Sides don't kick a lot of goals anymore. So, I don't know. I'm going to go pretty left field. I might jump behind Paddy Dangerfield. I think he's, particularly as the season stretches out, I think he'll spend a lot more time forward. So,
left fielder.
He's a good kick for goal too. So he doesn't miss many.
No. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Look, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate
it.
Absolute
pleasure.
Thanks for coming on.
Put your links in chat.
But before you go, everything's in the description below. You can check out his Instagram, his Linktree, and his SoundCloud, all down below in the description. So make sure to check him out. I will give it a plug. Good Vibrations is my favourite, but I don't mind about you as well.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I've got another one coming out, as I mentioned, on the 9th of May called Oh My God Whatever, which is inspired by my beautiful but challenging sometimes 12-year-old daughter.
Keep our ears peeled, mate.
Yeah, keep it around.
Thanks again, mate.
That's a really good one. So thanks, guys. But hey, love your work. Love jumping on. Long time listener, first time caller. Absolutely love it, guys. So thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Okay. Look after yourself, Phatcontrolla.
See you, boys.
buddy.
See you soon.
Better put the view back to how we were.
Yeah, now we're back into it, boys. Well, another successful guest, but I guess we get into next week's footy.
We do get into next week's
And how about
footy.
North Melbourne getting a blockbuster Thursday night?
Yeah, I know. Are you going to this game? Are you going to this game?
I'm trying to convince Dunny to go, but I've got a funny story before we start about Dunny.
Okay.
Now, he's dead set against Mackay. This is an Dunny Essendon story. So he's dead set against Mackay, and he got that blind after the game on Anzac Day that he was calling the Essendon membership hotline, asking them to sack Mackay. He left, it was like eight voicemails on the Essendon membership hotline to sack Mackay.
They could save a bit of money.
You didn't think to video it, or you weren't with him?
Oh, I wasn't with him. No, he told me this afterwards. He goes, his wife told us, you know what he was doing? And we thought he was just picking on, like, social media, picking on him. But no, he actually called the membership hotline and told him to sack him, left voicemail saying sack him.
We got the better Mackay there.
So, yeah, 100%. But that's just my little funny Dunny story. I thought it was hilarious. He's calling a hotline to get his player sacked.
It wouldn't surprise me if North got up, you know.
No,
this is a very, very dangerous game.
It's going to be a great game, I reckon.
Now, we're trying to get to this. Dunny reckons he won't be able to work the next day, and I can't afford to not have him at work. So, we're trying to.
So, who's your tip? Let's get into it.
I'm going North. I don't go against North.
Essendon.
I've gone Essendon as well.
All right, St Kilda Freeman.
St Kilda!
Yeah, I've got St Kilda over here. Yeah.
Saints as well. Beautiful. Dogs Port.
I've got Doggies.
Doggies, yeah. Crows Carlton over there.
Now, over there, this is a tough one because
we haven't won there
good
in like
footy.
20 years.
Yeah, but Adelaide's not playing good footy. I'm going to go Carlton. I'm going to go Adelaide. I haven't tipped them all year. I'm getting on them.
We're going
Thilsalt's out too, or
Silvani's out, Williams is out, and Chera's out for Carlton.
Oh,
it's some big. I don't rate Williams anyway, so
he's been handy up forward.
Don't rate him.
Yeah,
I'm going Carlton.
I'll pick Carlton, but not confident.
All right, I'll go against this and go Adelaide then.
All right, beautiful.
West Coast Melbourne. We were going to say this is a battle of the spoon, but I think it's Melbourne by how far now?
I think Melbourne win, but I don't think it's going to be as far as what you think.
Well, I'm going the wet toast.
Wet toast.
Wet toast.
Then probably the game at around Collingwood Geelong. It's at the MCG.
I'm very.
I think the weather's not going to be good either. I'm
leaning
sure
towards
it's going to be
Geelong.
wet. Yeah, I'm on Geelong here too.
I've tipped Collingwood, but Geelong could come out firing after getting towed up.
I reckon getting towed.
Show, yeah.
And I think if Chris Scott is a man that'll dissect where Essendon were able to get in front. Yeah, where he would be able to dissect where Essendon got in front of Collingwood and be able to put that into the Geelong side.
Do you think it was the short break that cost Geelong last week too? I meant to ask this before. The 4-day break. Yeah, they played on Monday and then Saturday, so they only had 4 days.
5 days.
Sunday. Well, 5 days, whereas Carlton had the 7.
Yeah.
No, we played Sunday.
That could have hurt too.
7 to 7 is
6.
Sunday to Sunday is 7, Tassie. That's a full week,
sorry,
mate.
Sunday, 6 days. They played
Monday to Sunday.
So it's
they
one day.
They played the Friday, didn't they? We went and watched them on the Friday, didn't we?
Did we? Oh, Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Right.
So they had a week and a half, Tassie.
Week and a half.
Week and a half, mate.
All right. Sydney,
I'm going Geelong, I think. Sydney GWS. Now, this could be anything because they're both struggling at the moment. They've both got to come back and prove a point, but I think GWS because I think
I think Sydney just, I don't know. They start well and then
I tipped GWS. I just had to double check. I couldn't remember.
Yep,
I'm going GWS.
Then we've got Hawks Richmond. I think everyone's Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks. Yeah. I am 110% Hawthorn on this one.
And then we've got Brisbane Gold Coast. I think this is going to be another cracking game.
This will be a game. This will be a game. And
I've gone Gold Coast.
I was going to go Gold Coast as well.
I'm going Brisbane. I'm Brisbane.
But it's a Sunday night, 7:20 p.m. I love this time slot. Yeah. I think this is a great time slot. Look, you were against this last year. I think we need more of this.
Because we were doing the show. We always missed it because we were doing the show.
1-3-7 are the best 3 times. It should be 1-4-7. But 1-3-7, you can watch 3 games of football. You don't have to miss. This week, I've seen the middle game on Saturday. And they overlapped.
And that's the thing. It's going to overlap again this weekend coming.
Only two Saturday games.
Actually, 1:20, 4:15. So we'll probably 1:20 will finish before 4:15. No, we're actually going to get to see all 3 games.
No, that's it.
But there's 2 Saturday night.
Yeah, the 2 Saturday nights.
Yeah, but no one wants to watch West Coast.
No. Not
No.
at all.
But
Or Melbourne.
yeah, on
But they'll
Sunday
win.
we'll get that one.
All right, we've got to keep moving. We're
Gold
really
Coast.
behind tonight. So you said Gold Coast as well, Eggy?
I went Brisbane.
Brisbane. All right. Up to controversial call.
Oh,
time.
we'll get
Don't
the
ramble
headset
too
on
much.
because we're rambling this week.
No rambling. We're already 7:58.
Bit
Nah,
of
that's
a-
all right. We got heaps of time tonight.
We got heaps of time.
Ava's away in Canberra, so I don't have to go anywhere. So let's just
No,
run it
right.
out.
I've got a hot take. I'm converting to American lingerie football. They hit harder than us now. There's no rules about concussion or anything. We might as well play touch football or flag football at this point. But if Curtis gets 3 weeks, I'm out. AFL has gone from the toughest sport in the world to a joke. We're the Donald Trump of sport now.
I do think
If Curtis
that-
gets 3 weeks for that, I'm done.
I do think that they need to do a full review and start looking at the action more than the outcome.
He
Because at the
tackled
moment,
someone.
they're so focused on the outcome, they don't care what the action is.
But it was a tackle, and you can tell he tried to do the right things. He had his knees to the side. He leant back. The other player's knee, he dove forward to get the push in the back free kick, and then his knee dug in, and they've both propelled forward.
But the 3 weeks,
You can't be
the 3
given
weeks
3
is for the concussion. It's not
Yeah, but
because of the action.
You
That's
can't
what
be
it,
giving a player 3 weeks for a football act.
but this has been
It was the
argument
same as
for the last-
Archer last time. I was nearly out the
Correct.
game then, but Archer went in like a bull. So we give it. But if Curtis is out, I'm done. I'm done with
And
football.
but this is what everyone is throwing up their arms about, is the fact that they're looking at what the outcome is, and that basically, I think it was Jimmy Bartell. He goes, "Why not just come out and say it's the outcome, not the action?" Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment they're trying to say it's the action, but people that are concussed or get knocked out, those players that are causing that are getting more weeks than others.
But it can't be the action because we just saw Chera. Now, this is a bad one, but I'm going to bring it up. Chera punched someone in the guts and got a week.
He didn't punch him in
He's-
the guts. He hit him up here.
Oh, hit him in the chest, but he's physically tried to punch him and gets a week. How
That was in
is
a wrestling
that?
football act.
Well, yeah, but how is that better than a tackling football action?
Yeah, well, mate, I hear what you're saying.
Cannot be. It
I'm
cannot
not
be
disagreeing
better.
with you. I'm just saying what they're looking at is the outcome more than the action.
And it's turning us into tag football. We might as well just come out. I've actually got 2 solutions. I was going to rant all night, but I've got 2 solutions. We either make it flag football or touch football, or we put every player in a helmet. You cannot play without a helmet.
Apparently, helmets make it worse.
Do they? How
Yep.
can helmets make it worse?
Well, Doc's put 3 weeks as an absolute joke. I tend to agree with him, so I reckon he should get 5.
No, 3 weeks. And they've said it's going to be 3 weeks or 0. If it is not 0, it's nearly me done for football. We cannot keep, if we want the code to grow, we cannot keep suspending our best players.
No,
for
I
acts
agree
like
with you.
this.
I do agree with
We
you.
once were the toughest. People used to look at Aussie football and go, how do they play like that? How do they hit them that hard? We're not getting that anymore. We're a joke now. We're an
Yep.
absolute joke.
Yeah, I do agree with you, mate. I'm not disagreeing in any way. I'm just saying what they look at is the outcome, which is not what it should be. Doc, we should protest at AFL House.
AFL House.
Not a bad idea. All right, good controversial call, Moisty. I like it.
The third option is you just tell the players, this is what we're going to get you. And players will stop tackling, and then the game will become a joke.
Yep, correct. All right, we're going to move on. Woo girls, wowee.
Oh,
All
he's
right.
gone all out. He's got 2 this week. Too.
I've
Let's
got
go.
2 this week. Well, I was working on one, and then one come to my attention, so I had to bring it up. Firstly, if you haven't yet seen North Melbourne's Darcy Tucker's performance in defence, playing 97 minutes and managing 3 tackles and 0 disposals.
Elite.
Not the stats I'd want to see from a 156 gamer. No wonder he was subbed out. Darcy was traded in a deal from Freo back in 2012 end of season trade period where Kangaroos received...
2012.
No, sorry, 2022. But teammate Griffin Lowe and future third round selection in exchange for future second round AFL conversation, future third round conversation, and a future fourth round selection as well. But I want to hear Todd's on this.
Mate,
Dust-
I've wanted him out of the team since he got there. He's only in the team because he's Clarko's boy.
Oh,
Todd's never liked him.
No.
it makes sense
At all.
now.
Never liked this bloke. There's a
But
few I don't like. But yeah.
I think Tucker was sort of thrown in because they really wanted Logue.
Okay.
And I think they've got him. Yeah, I don't know.
like
Which
steak
I
knives.
honestly, honestly. don't
Zero
know.
disposals in 97 minutes. I don't even know how he got to stay in the field that long.
0 disposals, 3 tackles. That was why he had pressure. All right, 3 tackles, 1.25.
1.25. All right, my second wowee for this week is Scott Pendlebury versus Harvey Thomas's 12v14 Stadium saga. First of all, what's the difference? JMHBA Stadium in Geelong, where 75 kilometres up the road, they can have a minimum of 50,000 more spectators turn up. You can say the same with Mars Stadium, which holds half as much as GMHBA. They're never going to play Collingwood with another Victorian team outside of Melbourne. Summit Stadium in Mount Barker, which is only sorry, go on.
Before you go on, we're not talking about Melbourne. It's Tassie.
Yeah, they've never been to Tassie.
That's exactly the point. That's
Yeah.
what we're all saying.
Getting there, mate. Getting there. Summit Stadium.
Finish.
Summit Stadium, Mount Barker, which has only had 3 games at it since the dawn of the gather round, and only ever will be, as this year they switch it for the Barossa Park. University of Tassie Stadium for Hawthorn and Launceston, AFL or the Hawks will never take Collingwood home game there, as it only holds 15,000, which is the same as Manuka Oval in Australia's capital in Canberra.
Monica.
Well, yeah, or Monica. I don't know how to pronounce it. But what they don't say is he averages 55,000 people at a game in 409 games. His least attended game was against GWS in round 18 in their opening round year of 2012 at the SCG, when Collingwood beat them by 120 points. Only 8,102 people showed up to watch that game. So
we can do it. We can have him in front of 8,000. We just choose not to.
In a nutshell, you can whinge and bitch about it, but the fact is the home team in the AFL are the only ones pulling the strings here. So if you have an issue with it, take it up with your own club, as they obviously think it benefits the club more than their home game. There's my rant for you.
There's another one. Where are we?
Oh my goodness! I like it, Egi. I like
Beautiful.
it.
He didn't like the Collingwood hate a couple of weeks ago. I can tell you that much.
No.
He's been sitting there and he's actually gone back and watched that episode 3 times.
Yeah, he's been stewing on it. He's like, all right, I'm going diving into it.
I like it, Egi. That was
All
good.
right. That was very good. Oh, Tassie, viewers' questions, mate. We missed out last week, so we might have.
No, you're jumping ahead, mate. What are you doing?
We're
got
jumping
tipping
ahead.
first.
We've got 8 and 8. We do all the segments, then we go to tipping.
Oh, but yeah, well, what do you want to do, boys?
Go
All right,
tipping.
Eggy, get in tipping. Tassie's
All
a
right.
bit nervous. He hasn't
Already
done it
in
for a
order.
week. He's a bit nervous.
All right, thanks to GWS going down to the doggies. We are jackpotting it to $60 this week. So if you haven't yet joined tipping, check it down in the link below, in the jot form link down there. First place gets $250, second place gets $100, and third gets $50, with the $20 jackpotting each week. And this week we got $60 up for grabs. Big shout out to Triple R Kumar, who made his way up to second spot with the round of 8. So yeah, if he ended up choosing GWS, the doggies over GWS, he would have got the full round. But Big Jam still 2 out in front with 48, and I'm pretty sure that's the man that won our T-shirt at the pool comp earlier on this year.
I think it is too.
Yes.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
congratulations.
Absolutely
All right.
dominating.
Now we're going into viewers' questions.
Now we go on viewers' questions. Tassie, he's a bit rusty because he wasn't here last week, so we might have a few to get through, Tassie. So
I don't know what you're talking about. It's been a 9 there the whole time. All right,
then
so
goodbyes 9 then.
now we've actually got 5 questions tonight. I couldn't really decide. Anyway, we're going to keep going. So, first question's from Kelzo. Should the AFL schedule more games on Anzac Day itself? It's great that Melbourne and Perth get one this year, but what about Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide? Here's Kelzo's thoughts. My thoughts would be Brisbane versus Gold Coast, Sydney versus GWS, Port versus Adelaide, West Coast versus Freo, plus the Collingwood and Essendon.
Okay, I'll take this one to start. I love the Essendon Collingwood. It's always going to be Essendon Collingwood. But the biggest thing, what if this is a Wednesday? You're going to have a whole round of football on a Wednesday?
Yeah, theoretically, you can't have more than 3.
Yeah.
You can't have
timing.
in timing.
I think 2. 2's enough.
I think two's enough as well, and plus because they've got the Anzac Day Eve, so there's already one game there. So yeah, if it falls on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, you got half the round already gone.
Well, that's it. You're going to have 4 games on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
And you can't have them during the day because no one will watch them. No one will go.
There won't be enough attendance. I love the thought process behind it, Kelzo, but I just don't think it's it's
I
possible.
think we went too far with the night game on Anzac Day. I think
I
it was
liked
a
it.
Collingwood Essendon. I think it should always be Collingwood Essendon. I like the night game, but I think
I think
pulled away a
they
bit.
had to because it was on a Friday, so there's always a Friday night game. So I don't know
Oh
where,
yeah, I suppose.
where we actually you can't fit it.
It has
fit
been
in
for the
on a
last
Monday.
couple of years. There's been a night Anzac
Well,
Day.
it's going to be next year as well because Anzac Day falls on Saturday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're going to have a few games that day.
yeah,
I think they still do the two. I don't think they over when it's on a weekend.
no, I don't think so either.
Yeah,
But
but I just don't know when they can fit it in if we don't have it because they don't do the.
But
We
it'll
get
be
the Monday
Thursday,
off.
Friday.
Do we get the Monday off? Or I thought they stopped that.
No, they stopped that for Anzac Day. You don't
Oh,
get
did they?
Monday for- no public holiday
Those
disturbance for
motherfuckers.
Anzac Day. It's only.
all right,
Anzac
now we
Day.
are protesting, but not outside.
No, so you go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 games, and maybe have a Monday night, just Monday night football.
or catch up or something. And then Kelsey's should we rotate it? I don't think so.
I
love
don't think you can
Collingwood
lose
Essendon.
No,
Collingwood
yeah,
Essendon.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been
And actually-
there for 100 years. I don't
I actually
think we
put
can.
this up as a poll on our TNT Instagram. And it was surprisingly, there was a lot of people that thought that the team should be swapped and it shouldn't be Collingwood and Essendon. It was actually more favourable to Collingwood and Essendon not being the two teams and that it should be rotated.
I don't think you can change that up.
No.
now.
I don't
think it should
Everyone
either, but I'm
loves
just
it.
saying
It's
what-
like a second grand final.
I'm just saying what the people replied on the poll. So actually, guys, just while we've got you in chat, we do put a fair few polls up during the week. So if you're on our story, we'd love it if you just hit yes or no or fuck off, whichever you choose.
Oh,
We're
right.
going to keep
So
moving through.
Keep moving on. So we're all pretty unanimous that it stays Essendon Collingwood.
So we've got Ava. Who do you think will win the flag going by stats so far?
So who's Ava? It's not my Ava, is it?
Yes.
It is. I was just
And-
surprised. I didn't think she'd care about the stats. I thought she'd just go, "Who do you think will win the flag?"
And that fits her too, because going by stats, there's only a few teams in the premiership window.
Well, Collingwood's one of them,
They're not in the premiership. They're not score enough
but they've
to
got
be
the most.
in the
They've got like
premiership window.
55 points average against. That's low as anything.
So they're in it for defence, but in that magical bracket,
Yep.
there is 2 teams. Now, Hawthorn are just on the edge of it. Brisbane's in it. And there was one other team I can't remember. But Collingwood are in it, but they're
You
at
said
the
2 teams
bottom
before.
of the... Yeah, no. So they're the 2 teams in it.
Yep.
And then you got Collingwood. Here's the line for points 4. They're right on that line there, but their defence is like right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've got the best defence, but they're not quite scoring enough. You know how they got that premiership
Yep.
access?
Yeah,
thing?
I know the premiership table or whatever.
Brisbane and Hawthorn were in it, but Collingwood have just got to score one more point. They're in it.
Carlton will be in there in 4 weeks' time.
Yep.
Reckon? No, but I reckon Collingwood are favourites at the moment. So tell Ava it's Collingwood, but not by stats.
She just watched this show later. She'll hit.
Still here?
You
Well,
boys
she
got-
won't,
that's- you've got to answer it.
she won't be able to watch it till Friday night. So.
That's okay. Thank you, Ava, for the
Thank
question.
you,
You guys haven't answered it yet. You going to answer it?
I said pies.
I said
Straight up.
Pies? Oh, you just
She
give me a
knows
one-word
pies.
answer?
Yeah.
One-word answer?
Pies because they look good.
Yes. We got a Anzac Day debate going on in chat. So.
All right, we'll keep going through. Talking Everything AFL has got here. Will there be any new coaches for season 2026? And what team is likely to change their coach? Well, I think we know the given. I'm going to make a rule here. We can't say Port Adelaide because we already know that's going to happen.
No,
Yeah.
well, they're not.
Well-
I was going to say none now.
Not even Simon. Oh, I suppose Simon Goodwin's come good.
Goodwin's
what-
come good, Bevo's come good, and
Boss has
Clarko
come
good.
I
Yes.
don't think
I-
they're
I
going to
was-
get, and Boss has come good. So
I was calling Bevo at the start of the year as in my predictions that he was going to get sacked, but yeah, he's come good, and so I reckon I'm going to skip the wowee, but between round 12 and round 13, and we're going to go through and we want to see if we want to retract any of our predictions or go through them and see if we still
Retract.
think.
I'm
See
up
if
for
we
that.
still think anything.
I'm already
about it.
retracting. all of them.
mine's they're probably no good, the whole of them. But no, I think all coaches are safe this year, apart from
Clarko?
Hinkley.
Oh.
No, I think Clarko's. I don't think they'll sack him now because they can't keep depending late in the year. If he starts 100-point losses, 50 points, nothing rock, maybe. But at this stage, I don't think anyone will.
The only club that I can see that might start getting really impatient is Matthew Nicks from the Crows because they should be performing better than what they have been.
Yeah.
But other
Eggy?
than that, I think it's pretty stable.
You got none, Egi?
Yeah, I was thinking Simon Goodwin. So yeah, if they do lose to West Coast this week, he could be back on the chopping board.
What do we got here? Oh, geez, that's a lot of messages.
No, it's just we've got an Anzac Day.
Kelso reckons that I get that, but I guarantee you sell at the MCG no matter what teams you have played. Yeah, but I don't even know how many years it's been going for, but it's going to cause such an uproar if you.
Yeah,
I think you do though. Regardless, whoever plays at the MCG, you'll sell.
I agree, but I think
agree that. But I think it's Collingwood, Essendon. It's been that. It's like North's Good Friday. They're talking about taking that off. You can't. It's Carlton and North on Good Friday.
Because it can change, sort of in the NRL, because it used to be Storm versus Warriors. Now the Warriors decided they want a home game, so now it's Storm Rabbitohs. So the Warriors.
Doc, I've just got to say there, mate, it wasn't actually Pies and Bombers that started it. There were actually Melbourne was one of the teams that was doing it before Collingwood and Bombers.
Yeah, because I think.
Oh, I said 100 years. It's only been 25.
But I think it's been a few different. I think even Carlton was during the mix at some stage, but it was the Collingwood Bombers one that they actually sold out
and stuck to.
And for the last 25 years, it's like the Good Friday. Carlton North don't sell many games out, but they sell that one out every year.
Same as Carlton Richmond Thursday night used to be round one. Like that still sells out. So yeah. All right, we're going to keep moving. Carlton Flaggers. Are the Blues back? 100%.
100%. Yes.
Lids off, baby. Lids off.
Almost.
No, lids off.
And then Doc was a late entrance into the questions, and I liked this question, so I thought I wanted to get it on for us. And that's, hey boys, who do you think are contenders and pretenders so far?
Ooh.
Just give us 4. I don't want us to give us all.
4 pretenders and 4 contenders, or 2 of each?
Pretenders, Adelaide, Sydney, GWS. Oh, no, sorry, we're doing 2 each.
I'll go 3 each.
No, 2. No, so are they pretenders or are they flag favourites, mate?
Pretenders.
All right. I've got Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide, I think, as well.
I've got Port Sydney, GWS. And then contenders, obviously not. I'm going to leave Brisbane and Pies off this because we know that I think they are contenders. But I'm starting to think Carlton now, and yes, I'm being biased.
3 games.
Carlton, Western Bulldogs, and it wouldn't surprise me if Gold Coast as well.
Yeah, I've got Dogs and Gold Coast besides Brisbane and Collingwood.
I've got Gold Coast, Hawthorn, and Bulldogs.
Yep. Nice. I like it.
Actually, to go back on the coaches thing, I reckon for 2026, I reckon John Longmire gets named as the Tassie coach.
Oh, good call. Big call. I like it.
I've got another one. If Simo, it's either Simo or Buckley for me. If Simo doesn't come to North, he goes there. And if Buckley's still hanging around, I think he goes there.
I reckon you prefer Longmire if he's keen because he's better.
I don't know if he's keen, though.
Yeah. That's it. We're through. We're at 15 minutes over, but it was a good show. Big show. We knew it was a great show.
We knew it was going to be big, yes.
Just to catch up, we've got Sheedy went to the AFL, and I still think other teams deserve the right to have a game on Anzac Day.
I think Anzac night, but I don't think Anzac Day.
I think if you can make it, if you can get it to fall on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even a Thursday, they do have a switching game, like a switching game where they can have different teams.
Well, I think that nighttime game's been the same for the last 3 years too. I don't think
actually, I don't think it has. I think it was only in because it was a Friday night. I think usually when it falls on like a normal day, they don't have one. Like if it's a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday.
We'll find out and we'll post it.
Yeah.
Love it. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Phatcontrolla, thanks for joining in as our special guest, mate. And thank you, everyone, for submitting your questions. We might try something in the next couple of weeks and get you to submit a voice question so we can play that on the stream. We've just got to figure it out where we can play it on the stream and we can hear it at the same time because we do struggle with that sound part. But cracking show. Had a ball tonight.
It was good. Great show.
But Moisty mumbled on a bit, but, he does that.
Mate, you've got to, when there's injustice in the world, and I'm about ripping up my 12 North Melbourne memberships and my 2 AFL memberships because of a certain thing that happened, I've got to vent. That's the whole reason I come on this show is to vent.
The show might be called TNE next week, Todd and Egi, and we'll have
TNN. NT Footy, but it's not Northern Territory.
Love it. All right, guys, let's hope this weekend's an explosive round of footy.